Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine. And guess what? Today we're going to discuss about blood relationships in unit 5 mathematical reasoning and aptitude, and I'm going to tell you a couple of formula that how you can just create diagram and find the answer. Imagine you're trying to figure out who's who at a huge family reunion where you have got relatives coming in from all over the place. Some you know, and some you're meeting for the first time. This is a kind of like the puzzles you'll find in the blood relation questions in those big exams like NET, UPSC, and banking. So these questions are super common and can be a bit of brain teaser, but they're all about understanding who's related to whom by birth in a family. So how do we tackle these kind of puzzles? So think of these questions as a game where you're given a bunch of clues about a family tree, and your job is to figure out how everyone is connected. It might sound simple, but the way these clues are given can be a bit tricky. So what you want to do is kind of play detective there. So first of all, you have to read carefully, right? Like following a recipe. If you miss a step, you might end up calling someone's aunt their sister. And also grab a piece of paper and sketch a mini family tree based on the clues. This is like drawing a map so you don't get lost in who's who. So in real life example, let me give it to you. Let's say you're told Alex is Tom's mother and Maria is Tom's mother. From this, you can draw a little chart showing Maria at the top with Tom and Alex below her, connected by lines to indicate they are her kids. And this help you to see, that Alex is not just Tom's brother but also Maria's son. And what exactly is this blood relation? So when we talk about blood relations, we're talking about connections between people because they are related by birth, not because they are married for any other reason. It's just like when you look at your family photo album, your mom, your dad, siblings, and you all are connected by blood. So in exam, you'll get a puzzle that describes how a bunch of family members are related, and then they'll ask you to figure out the relationship between specific people. For example, if you're given a puzzle and then ask how is person A related to person B, you'll need to use the clues to trace their connection. And most importantly, to remember that families can span generations, like having your grandparents, parents, and kids all in one picture. In these puzzles, you might need to think about relationships across up 3 generation, and like great grandparents, and these three below you, like grandchildren. So in essence, these questions are asking you to map out a family tree based on certain clues distinguishing between relationship by birth like parents and siblings, and by marriage like in-laws. It's like being a kind of detective for a day, tracing the lineage and connections between a family based on the hints you're given. So imagine you're at the family reunion again, and now instead of feeling lost, you have got a map, your flowchart, and a detective eyes for detail, and you're no longer just mingling. You're solving the puzzle of how everyone is related, and just like that, you're acing these blood relation questions with the confidence of someone who knows their way around a family tree. So in blood relationship, they ask different kind of question. Mostly they ask about like someone is pointing at someone and giving you clues that what his relationship, and all. Also there is one question about the family tree. So when we talk about pointing or introducing, so imagine you're at a big family reunion. Your cousin Rahul is trying to play a fun game by making everyone guess how they're related to others, and he points to someone and says, that's the wife of my mom's dad's only grandkid. Sounds like a tongue twister, right? In plain speak, Rahul's mom's dad is his grandpa. Now this grandpa has only one grandkid who has to be Rahul, because who else could be, right? So when he says my mother's father's only grandchild, is talking in a super kind of roundabout way about himself. And the lady, she's Rahul's wife because she's married to the only grandchild. And then there is a question of family tree. So imagine you're trying to figure out how everyone in a super cool, somewhat complex video game or a favorite TV show family related. And to do this, you're going to draw a map, but not the kind you see to find treasure. Instead, this map shows you who's who in the family, kind of like a character guide, but for relationship. Now the basics that I'm gonna tell, how you can tackle all these questions easily. You know, you have to use symbols to find out. Suppose if you're talking about a man, right? So first off, think of all the dudes in the family, like male. Like if Harry Potter was in your family tree, how you gonna draw? You draw a circle and put Harry in it. And just to make it snappy, you can also mark them with plus. If you are not comfortable with circle, you can just write plus. And then all the ladies, again you have to draw in a square, very important. So like if in your question Hermione Granger is there, so then what you're gonna do, you are going to assign her a square with Hermione written inside, and also you can write minus if you're not comfortable with circle. I'll tell you how to do it in our next slide. So then there is a question about the generation, right? Sometimes they're asking about the son or mother or grandparents, right? So in that case we have to use that arrow button. So if it is one generation, then one arrow up, and if it is two generation, two arrows up, right? As you can see here in the slide that we are talking, if we are talking about one generation, a single arrow pointing upward indicating parents or the generation above. Same two generations up, so two arrows pointing upward indicating grandparents or two generation above, right? Then when it comes to spouse or maybe kind of sisters and brothers, you can use that, a double-headed arrow connecting to two symbols representing a spouse relation, like partnership, marriage between family. So that's how you're gonna do it. For example, if you wanted to show that Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger are married, what you're gonna do, you draw a circle of Ron and a square of Hermione and connect them with a double-headed arrow to show how they are partners, right? So let me tell you about how you can do with the picture. See here in the slide we have a circle and also plus, which represent male, and on the other hand we have female, which is as a square. And one generation up, upward one arrow, two generation up, kind of two arrow upward, and a spouse as double-headed arrow. So now you have the idea, you know how you can draw your family tree, and it'll be easy to answer, right? And before that, let me tell you about some tips how to solve that blood relation. First, you have to start with yourself. Imagine you're at a big family reunion and you're trying to figure out how you're related to everyone else there. So the trick is to start with yourself as the me in the story. So if someone asks, how is Linda related to you, you are going to start by placing yourself in the center of the family and work your way out to Linda. So in real life example, if you know Linda is your mom's sister's daughter, you'd say Linda is my cousin. Then the second tip is play detective with clues. Clues are very important in this kind of blood relationship questions. So think of each blood relation problem like a mystery where you're the detective. You're given a bunch of clues like the coded relationship, and job is to shift through them and paying attention to every details, including whether someone is a man or woman. By eliminating the option that they don't fit, you'll eventually solve the mystery. And again, when we have tip 3, which can be names can be really deceiving. Just because someone name is Krish doesn't mean they're a guy. It could be a girl, right? So that you have to be careful about, unless it is clearly mentioned that it's male, then you can just move on, right? Otherwise you just don't assume that they are by the name. You can just think that this is the guy or this is the girl, right? Then it's about sibling can be tricky all the time. Mostly you get wrong question when they talk about the sibling. So in the world of family mystery, only son or only daughter means what? They don't have other, right? They are the only child, so they can have siblings of a different gender. So if the clue says Jordan is Mike's only son, then Mike might also have a daughter. So connect the dots, very important. So your goal is to figure out how two people at the reunion are related. To do this, you might have to go through a chain of relatives. Imagine drawing a map of relationships that starts with you and branches out to include aunts, uncle, cousin, until you connect two people in question. Then tip 6 is use your own family as a reference. If you're stumped, think about how your family is structured. Related the question to your own relatives can make it easier to understand. It's like comparing the family reunion confusing relations to your own family's holiday gathering. And at the end we have tip 7, which is draw it out. When all else fails, grab a piece of paper and draw the map that we have given, like circle for male, square for female, and of course all the relationship between them, right? So I'll tell you with the example. So suppose here, so here is the question. Pointing to a photograph of a boy, Mr. Sekhar said, he's the son of the only son of my mother. So how is Mr. Sekhar related to that boy? So what you have to do is first, right, imagine you're at Mr. Sekhar's place, right? When he whips out this old family photo and starts guessing game, he points to that boy in the photo and throws you a clue that feels, like a brain teaser straight out of the detective novel. He is the son of the only son of my brother. So let's break it down. So picture this, you have got a photo of a boy and Mr. Sekhar standing right next to you. But who's this boy to Mr. Sekhar? So that's the kind of question. So in our thing, we draw two circles, right? One for the mystery boy that he's pointing, and one is for Mr. Sekhar in circle. And we have to write the name, like here in one circle we have given Mr. Sekhar, and also we have given like boy in the photograph. As they are male, that's why we have draw in circle. Then what Mr. Sekhar said, that he mentioned his mother making him the only son of his mom. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna draw mom's square here and write it down. So as he simply said that this is the only son, the boy. Mr. Sekhar's mother have only one son, which means what he's saying, he's the son of the only son of my mother. So it's so easy to grasp that what. So eventually what Mr. Sekhar is actually talking about himself, and he's saying I'm Mr. Sekhar, right? And now let me tell you another question here. It is asking Ravi is the son of Aman's father's sister. Remember the clue. Sahil is the son of Divya, who is the mother of Gaurav and grandmother of Aman. Ashok is the father of Tanya and the grandfather of Ravi. Divya is the wife of Ashok. And how is Ravi related to Divya? Kind of big question you might think, and it might mess up with your mind. But it's easy to understand if you know this, all the diagram that I have given and these symbols you can use. So let's start with the first one. Ravi is the son of Aman's father's sister. Right. So first we have to draw Ravi, which is in circle, and Aman's father's sister. So we have to write Aman's father's sister. We are talking about female, so we have draw in this thing. Now the second clue, Sahil is the son of Divya. So when we draw about Sahil is the son of Divya, we will draw Divya in a square, and we just put like Sahil one arrow up because Sahil is the son of Vidya. And then the second clue, who is the mother of Gaurav? Then we also have to put Gaurav because here it's mentioned. And grandmother of Aman. So Aman will also put in circle grandmother because we're talking about two generations, so two arrow. So here the whole mystery is solved, right? Now the next clue we have, Ashok is the father of Tanya, because it's completely different. We cannot draw right now, so we'll just do circle. And what, Tanya is the good daughter of Ashok. So in other way around, Ashok is the father of Tanya. So we'll just draw a square for Tanya and make one arrow up because she's the daughter of Ashok, right? And then again, the same thing is happening, and the grandfather of Ravi. So the next clue also saying like the grandfather of Ravi. What we're gonna do, grandfather, two arrow up, we'll write Ravi in circle, and will just represent that family tree with two arrow up, right? And what, Divya is the wife of Ashok. Now it's so easy, right? We'll just use that spouse symbol that we have, double-headed arrow. Now the mystery solved, all of them are solved. Now asking is what, Divya is the wife of Ashok, right? And how is Ravi related to Divya? So what we're gonna do, Ravi here, as we say, of how is related to Divya. So two arrow up, we can just easily take grandmother. Very easy. So our answer is what, Ravi should be the grandson to Divya. And Divya is what, grandmother of Ravi. So easy to answer with the diagram if you have. So that's the kind of question you get in exam. So if you know the circle and all the diagram, like circle is represented by male and female for the square and all this stuff, you can just solve any kind of question. So you should know the diagram first, and then you'll be able to find the answer. Okay, so that is all for today. In our next session, we're going to talk about direction and distance, quite important. We can also talk about Pythagoras theorem and how you're going to solve it. Usually they don't ask through Pythagoras, but these days they have started asking, so we have put it there and we're gonna talk about that too. So thank you so much. I'll see you in our next session. So bye bye and have a good day.